You might be brilliant, talented, and successful in your career, but if you're still broke, it's not your intelligence that's holding you back. Here's why. You've probably met someone who is incredibly smart, maybe even brilliant in their career or studies, but somehow they never seem to get ahead financially. And then there are people who might not be the smartest in the room, but they seem to build wealth effortlessly. Why does this happen? Why do some of the smartest people in the world struggle with money? It turns out it's not about intelligence. It's about mindset, habits, and psychology. The way we think about money, how we react to opportunities, and the financial decisions we make daily can make a huge difference. In this video, we're going to break down 10 psychological traps that keep smart people poor and what you can do differently. By the end, you'll see that being smart is not enough. It's how you handle money that matters. And before we jump in, drop a comment. Which one of these habits do you think you might fall into? Be honest, it's the first step to fixing it. Number 10. Overthinking every decision. One of the hallmarks of smart people is that they analyze everything. They think about every possible outcome, every risk, every what-if scenario. On the surface, that seems like a good skill, but when it comes to money, overthinking can lead to inaction. For example, someone might spend weeks researching the perfect investment instead of just starting with a small, consistent plan. Or they might never start a side hustle because they're worried about failure. Meanwhile, people who take action, even with imperfect knowledge, start building wealth over time. The truth is, in finance, consistency and momentum often matter more than perfection. Start small, start now, and adjust along the way. You'll learn more by doing than by overanalyzing. Number 9. Confusing income with wealth. A common trap is thinking that a high salary automatically means wealth. Smart people often fall into this because they feel like earning more solves all problems. But the reality is, wealth is what you keep, not what you earn. You could be making 6 figures and still living paycheck to paycheck if all your money goes to lifestyle inflation, upgrading your car, moving to a bigger house, or buying the newest gadgets. Meanwhile, someone earning less but saving and investing consistently will eventually be far ahead. Focus on building assets, investments, and savings, not just boosting your income. Money grows when it works for you, not just when you work for it. Number 7. Letting fear dictate decisions. Smart people are often cautious. They see risks that others overlook. But in finance, fear can be paralyzing. Fear of losing money, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of stepping outside comfort zones. For instance, someone might refuse to invest in stocks because they're afraid of market dips, or they might avoid starting a business because of the risk of failure. Meanwhile, wealth is often built by people who take calculated risks and accept that losses are part of the journey. The key is to educate yourself, set boundaries, and then take action despite fear. Small, calculated steps beat waiting for perfect certainty every time. Number 6. Believing knowledge alone creates wealth. Smart people often assume that just knowing a lot about finance automatically leads to wealth. They read books, watch documentaries, and understand markets, but still struggle financially. Knowledge is important. Understand tax strategies or be an expert in personal finance, but if you never apply that knowledge, you won't see results. Wealth requires doing. 5. Prioritizing status over security. Another common trap is chasing status symbols instead of financial security. Smart people often want to impress others. The fancy car, designer clothes, the big house. On social media, it's easy to feel pressure to look successful, even if your bank account says otherwise. The problem is that keeping up appearances drains resources that could be invested or saved. Meanwhile, people who prioritize financial security over showing off can quietly build wealth while others are busy trying to look wealthy. Focus on financial freedom first. Status will follow naturally if your wealth grows. 4. Ignoring the psychology of spending. Smart people are great at analysis, but often overlook the emotional side of money. They might make decisions based purely on logic. I shouldn't spend this money because it's not optimal. But emotions always influence our financial behavior. Impulse spending, lifestyle inflation, or chasing trends can sabotage wealth building even for the smartest individuals. Understanding your spending triggers and creating guardrails
guardrails for your money is critical. Automate savings, set budgets that aren't restrictive, and create systems that help your rational brain win over emotional impulses. 3. Underestimating the power of small wins. Smart people sometimes dismiss small financial wins because they seem insignificant. $50 here, $100 there, it won't make a difference. But the truth is, small, consistent actions compound over time. Investing $50 a week from age 25 will make a much bigger difference than waiting until you have thousands to invest at age 35. Wealth is a long game. Focus on consistency, not instant gratification or massive leaps. Your small wins accumulate quietly but powerfully. 2. Avoiding debt completely. Here's a paradox. Smart people often see all debt as bad. Credit cards, loans, mortgages, they avoid them like the plague. While high-interest debt is dangerous, avoiding strategic low-interest debt can hold you back. For example, a mortgage at 4% interest or a small business loan at a reasonable rate can be leveraged to create wealth that far outpaces the cost of the debt. Wealthy people understand how to use debt as a tool, not a trap. The lesson? Don't fear all debt. Understand it and use it intentionally. 1. Believing intelligence equals wealth. Finally, the biggest trap of all, thinking that being smart automatically leads to financial success. Intelligence helps in some areas, but wealth is primarily about behavior, habits, and mindset. You can be a genius with an IQ of 150 and still stay broke if you don't save, overanalyze without action, chase status over security, avoid risk entirely, ignore emotional spending. On the flip side, someone with average intelligence but disciplined habits, long-term thinking, and emotional control can quietly accumulate wealth far beyond what a smart person achieves. Money is a psychology game, not an IQ game. The smarter you are about habits and behaviors, the wealthier you become, not because of raw intelligence, but because of smart financial actions repeated consistently. So, there you have it, the 10 psychological traps that keep smart people poor. Overthinking, chasing status, fearing risk, ignoring emotional spending, and assuming intelligence alone creates wealth. These are the hidden reasons so many bright people struggle financially. The good news? You can fix it. Start small, focus on habits, invest consistently, control emotional spending, and prioritize financial security over appearances. That's how you move from being smart but broke to truly wealthy. Being smart isn't enough. Being smart about money is what actually builds wealth. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on money, psychology, and wealth-building strategies. Your financial mindset is the key to freedom, and the journey starts today.